Hello everybody. Today we are going to create a bulk letter or mail merge directly from your SuiteCRM system. Okay, so let's go. I have actually seen this already in multiple projects where people want to send like a snail mail, a physical letter, and in order to do this they create the campaign and then they would export the data here from the CRM system, try to fiddle around with it in Excel or whatever, and then import it into their other system where they then can do the mail merge and generate their mailings. But you don't have to do this at all because you've got all the data here inside your CRM system and you've got the feature as well inside your CRM system. So let's give this a try. Imagine you have a couple of contacts, 500, 5,000, doesn't matter. And you want to send a letter to those contacts. So what do you need in order to do this? So the first thing that we need to do is we need to create the letter itself. Therefore, I'm opening up a PDF template inside a new tab. And then I would create one PDF template and call it something like mail merge, bulk mail or something, mail merge. And you can do this even multiple times. So if you have, for instance, several campaigns or you have different segments and the communication, the content just looks different, you can do this as well. So you just create one template and then duplicate it and adjust it slightly to fit the other segments. So you can have like targeted communication. What type is it? It should go to the contacts because we said we want to send something to the contacts. It's active, yes. Page size, A4. You have to see what fits here. Just keep A4 for now. And then load sample. No, we don't want to have any samples, and orientation, depending on what fits for your campaign as well. So, and then the first thing that you have to do here is you would need to build up your letter basically. So maybe you've got some Word version already. Try to be careful with copying and pasting Word here, but it should potentially work as well. So if you just copy the content from somewhere else and paste it here, and then I would say hello, and then maybe. So in multiple projects, I'm using a specific salutation for the letter, like a letter salutation, where I merge things in case the communication is not hello first name, but the communication would be something like dear Dr. Sandra and so on. And then you would need to be a bit more careful and you would need to pre-calculate your letter salutation. And then you could simply use this field, letter salutation, after you calculate it and stored it inside your records and use it here. Since I don't have this at the moment, I would just use the last name because I'm certain that last name contains data since it's a required field. So now I've got my blah blah, my content, my marketing email or whatever, my marketing mail, my letter. And then I would end the whole thing with cheers, and then maybe I would add my name underneath it, and you can even access something like assigned to user, so the related records, ideal. Because then you've got plenty of different options on what kind of variables you can use here inside your letter. And continue imagining this a little bit further. You can even pre-calculate something like content pieces, snippets inside your contacts, inside your accounts or whatever, and then reuse them here in order to do this. I assume that you know this from your marketing automation, and you would do this there as well. Merge text or variables, or you know this from email templates in general. So you can do just exactly the same thing on a traditional letter. And since you're building up the logic and the variables here, you have them here, why not do this? So header and footer. This would be in case your letter is longer than one page, and then you've got the header and footer, which would be repeating. In our case, we don't have to do this. In general, I would stop here, making it not nicer at all. If you want to know more, check out my video on the PDF templates, because there we go a little bit into details on how to format those things. So click on save. And now I'm going back to my contacts. And now one special thing that you need to look out for is you need to select this page. So I've got all the contacts selected on this page, and I want to do a bulk action, and I want to print those as PDF. And after I click on this, remember, I mentioned before you can do like multiple campaigns, multiple versions, A/B testing, whichever you see fit. These will show up here now, and then to this segment or to this group of people, you can use this one here, and then you would have another version, and then you would have this inside another one. So, and now what happens is it goes through the records and will send those records to a PDF template generator. You notice already this takes a little while. So in the background, the CPU is running and generating our PDF file. So very good. It worked out, and we have been generated 4 pages here. And as you can see, hello last 04, cheers Bastian Hammer. And here we've got hello last, cheers Bastian Hammer. Hello last 02, cheers Bastian, and so on. And last 03. So the variable will be parsed or rendered into every single PDF page, making it highly targeted, the communication. At least you could. Of course, you can still do a one-size-fits-all, but if you wanted to, you can segment, slice and dice, and have just better communication with your customers overall. What does not work is do this one here, select all, and then do the print as PDF, because now imagine we've got like 5,000 contacts here, and we would only display 50 contacts on one page. We have a pagination situation, and this rendering engine or the process from here to the PDF rendering, it can't do paginations, and therefore this will only work for this current selection or for this current page, and therefore always select only this one page. So, but you don't want to do this 50 by 50. Therefore, let's go into the admin area and solve this problem once and for all, because there inside the system settings, you can just configure this to be, let's say, 250. So the next time you go into here into your contacts, so I unfortunately only have 4, so I can't really demonstrate this now, but you might have more inside your system. You will see all the 250. Again, you can now select the whole page, 250, and there you go. You can generate the PDF for all 250. Now, yet another potential issues, depending on where you're hosting your CRM system. You've noticed it already before when we have generated the PDF file, that it took a little while. If you have a potent VPS and this is working for you, and then of course it can take care of more pages per one batch than if you would have only like a shared hosting environment, and then maybe it timeouts. So you can only do maximum 100 instead of 250 or 500 in one go. And therefore you would need to kind of segment those. And how would you segment them? You would work with those filters. So here there are basically 2 options for segmentation. The first option would be maybe based on your product interest, and then you would anyway only want to send the PDF with a product interest to the product interest A group, and then there's a product interest B and with a B group and so on. So therefore you would have an additional field here, product interest, and then you would pre-calculate this already in advance. The data is stored inside every single record here, and you would be able to filter, save this filter as a quick filter, and then you would be able to reuse it and quickly generate the PDFs for all of them. So how to do this if you don't have any segments where you want to communicate in a different way? You could still do it in the same way, filter here, so that you always only get like maximum 100 records. In the worst case, you have to go by, let's say, the name or the postal code, and then the name starting with an A, and then starting with a B, and then you've got those different groups. Or if you have to do this more frequently, it would make sense that you identify how big you can go on this mail merge batch. Let's say you've got 1,000 records in your CRM system, and each run you can do around 200, and then you would need to have 5 batches. So you would just add one field, call it batch number, and then you would select the first 200 records, and via the bulk action you can do this here again. So select 200 and then mass update. Make sure that the field is mass updatable when you update the when you add the field, and you would just add the number 1 into your batch number, and then you would do this for the next 200 as well with a batch number 2, and then you can filter by the batch number. So plenty of different options. You can totally avoid exporting your data, maybe opening it up first in Excel, refining, reworking, restructuring it, and then importing it into a specific mail merge software, or using Microsoft and then do the mail merge via Microsoft Word and Excel. Because if all the requirements that you've seen now that you can accomplish here are sufficient, why not just leave the data inside your CRM, not juggle around the data and make your life much harder. Just stay inside the CRM and use the features that you've got here on board already. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye.